What's up, guys, and welcome back to the NoShang Invitational. This is Game 2 between ProDota and ZPuck. And, of course, Game 1 did go to ProDota. The game was not the fastest, but it was pretty convincing across the board for the PD side. We'll see if the Puck can bring it back. They were brought in to replace Stark, which, unfortunately, that team disbanded. Kind of a shame. I really do enjoy, or did enjoy, I guess, watching Stark play, but we'll see if the Puck can move onwards. This is lower bracket, so elimination is on the line. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Danley Cast for this second game. Do you think ZPuck have to switch things up a bit? I don't know. It seems like their drafts had a plan, but they just never really executed on it.
Yeah, I think that it felt like their draft was just too difficult to execute versus what ProDota had. Like ProDota had a very, very solid draft. Execution was straightforward. There was like nothing out of the ordinary for ProDota. They also had a couple of heroes that could initiate if the other one wasn't able to, whereas for ZPuck, who was their main initiator? Like, who was supposed to be the one to start the fights off? It wasn't going to be the Sven first because he didn't get the Blink Dagger first, so it was them sort of hoping that the Tusk, as well as maybe potential Queen of Pain jump-ins were going to be enough to start the fights off. It didn't happen, so they never really had that foothold that they wanted early enough to control the game before ProDota had it, so I honestly believe Team Puck does have a chance at taking a game off of ProDota. Just pick a draft that is going to be well-rounded so that the game is at least going to be a little bit easier for you and that you have a plan. Now, they go for the Zeus first pick, so I am sort of expecting ZPuck to potentially go for maybe a global strat here, and maybe they're going to consider picking up the Spectre. ProDota picking up the Chen. Looking at their stats, they do like to play this hero a lot, so they are very comfortable running the Chen.
As everyone should be. It's going to be a little bit more difficult playing a Chen, picking him up first up against a Witch Doctor, but the strength of the hero is definitely high enough so that you pick up the hero, and regardless of what the enemies grab, you should be kind of happy that you just have the Chen on your side. Kind of interesting opening for ZPuck. As you said, it is an indication that they want to go for a little bit more of a global heavy strategy. But the issue with that is that the big payoff for the global strategy is that a hero like Spectre is going to be, just have free reign. You already don't have access to a Nature's Prophet, and now you also don't have access to a Spectre. So now you're kind of stuck with the Zeus. It does show your cards super early, and it does seem like Zeus should be going towards the mid lane, and, his role there is pretty decent. He just has a huge overabundance of nuke damage going up against typically soft heroes like Lion Chen. Zeus is going to be pretty well positioned offensively, but this Zeus also is super, super easy to gank. Like, a Chen smoke can just kill a Zeus like that, no matter who's in the mid lane for the PD side, so I feel like this opening of Zeus is not really what ZPuck should be looking for. I love the Witch Doctor pick, but Zeus kind of feels now that he's just like a little bit of a lost hero.
Not just that though, but we don't see this hero very much, that he almost never gets banned. Let's face it, like, Zeus isn't a hero that teams would typically ban unless you're known to be running a very, very scary Zeus. So ZPuck could honestly maybe pick it 4th, 5th. It would be in the pool. It's not like it's going to be taken away. They do decide to pick up the Watermelon 3rd. So have the Ravage to work with. Big team fight ultimate seems to be the plan that Puck is going for this game. The huge downside to this strategy is if they can't make the team fights work when their ultimates are up, that's going to be a huge opening for ProDota to just fight into Puck, and they will not feel confident without the Ravage, without the Thunder God's Wrath.
It's going to be a big timer game for both sides. ProDota, it seems like they kind of want to just get in early and end the game, or at least take a decisive lead super early on, and ZPuck are going to be working around their rather high cooldowns of Ravage. 150 seconds there. Thunder God's Wrath is a little bit more manageable at a 90, but still, it's a long time to wait until you're at full strength, and if you're not with those ultimates, there's just a 0% chance that you can win the fight unless something miraculous happens for the Puck side. We'll see how ProDota actually want to approach this. Getting an abundance of silences, initiation, is typically what you want to do up against this type of draft. Lion is a decent start, although it's no guarantee that Lion is going to be able to initiate. Usually needs to get a Blink Dagger, and that's pretty expensive. So someone who's able to just start those fights should be at a premium here for ProDota. Beastmaster would have probably been that hero, but unfortunately he's banned out. Do they just go back for the Puck? The matchup versus Zeus is definitely a lot more difficult.
Or maybe a Tiny. I don't think it's going to be a Wisp here. There's just no room for a Wisp in this game, unfortunately. But Tiny, it's going to give ProDota that extra push on top of the Chen. So if they do win their team fights on top of Z-Puck, they will take the towers at least. I was going to mention, Z-Puck has all this team fight. Their last two heroes have to at least have some pushing potential. Because it doesn't matter how much team fight you have. If you can't take objectives, what's the point? If you take a huge team fight, then take half HP off a tower, that's rather pathetic. So, for Z-Puck, what can team fight early, but also gives you push? Do they maybe go for a Luna?
That would be going pretty deep up against Tiny. I mean, that type of hero that you're describing is definitely one that they should want to grab, and I would say that Juggernaut ban now looking a little bit strange. I mean, Juggernaut is good up against this whole big team fight type of thing that Puck are trying to put together, so that's fair enough, but the Juggernaut type of hero is the hero that they would really kill to have right now, just for that extra bit of sustain, just to maybe lose the fight less convincingly. When you take a fight, you're going to dominate a fight, not, take a 3-for-3 trade and then, have a couple heroes still straggling about. I'm not really sure if you really want to go that deep to get that, because you're expecting a lot of pressure now that we have a lot of stuns on the ProDota side. Someone like Luna who needs her items and then a BKB on top of that, while at the same time being pressured, might just be a little bit too soft for my liking.
Oh my gosh.
Enigma does give you push with those Eidolons. He does have a big ol' ultimate. Could work.
Eidolons? What?
Yeah. Are you insulting the correct way to pronounce it?
Mike, have you heard of how Enigma calls them?
Yo, have you heard of how the internet calls them officially?
What did you do? Ask Siri?
No, I asked dictionary.com and Wikipedia.
Oh god.
Don't even start. I could play it for the stream right now and prove
okay,
that I'm right.
Oh god.
I'm the only person who says it.
Eidolon.
You can't hear it, but everyone on stream can hear that.
Are you like Coddle Guy that calls he doesn't call them
Eidolon.
the same thing now, but he would always complain how the casters would call salves because the correct pronunciation is actually salve.
Really?
Yes, it is quite literally salve.
Huh. I had no idea. I know I'm pronouncing either Lens and Aegis wrong, and I'm aware of that, and I'm okay with that. But this is something that I feel like I should do because I'm literally the only one who does it. But PD, this is gonna be their initiator. It's the Bat Rider, adding yet another way to disable the Enigma's Black Hole into the mix, Witch Doctor's Ultimate, I guess, as well. But this is actually letting ProDota not only start the fight on their own terms because it's Bat Rider, but also with the Chen and Bat Rider, you will often find yourselves in a position where you have a big Chen army, you have a Tiny with a Blink Dagger, even without a Blink Dagger, and a Bat Rider with the Blink Dagger, you can force down objectives super easily because Z-Puck will be initiated upon all the time. Is a core Vengeful Spirit actually like decent here for Puck? They need some sort of answer to this Bat Rider.
They honestly could go for it if they really want to. You're going to be giving the Vengeance Aura to the rest of Z-Puck's team, then at least it also speeds up their push if they do successfully take team fights. So Vengeful Spirit is a reasonable option here, but does Z-Puck go that far back into the past to pick up a Vengeful Spirit? We won't actually know till they decide what they want to go for. But I do love the Bat Rider pick for ProDota. Just picking apart Z-Puck's draft. If you get one kill, Z-Puck probably won't even bother trying to go for a team fight. And in particular, if you can get the Tide Hunter pickoffs, it'll be huge. So what does Z-Puck want? They have about 30 seconds left on the clock. We already pointed out most of the options that they could have really gone for though. Vengeful Spirit. I almost wanted to say Drow Ranger, but there's a Bat Rider.
Yeah. I mean, you get the payoff of the damage from the Enigma's summons, but that's about it. Like, Enigma's not really auto-attacking. Witch Doctor Zeus, kind of the same thing. Drow Ranger would be a mistake. Morphling is definitely a lot better than the Drow Ranger, to say the least. Is actually in a decent position versus what Proto have. Is going to be that payoff hero, not contributing to the team fight. Doesn't have to be in the mix like that. But if he does get pulled in you will need to actually dump everything you have into that Morphling to guarantee the kill. And while you're dumping spells into the Morphling, Enigma and the Tidehunter are getting into play. So I do like the last pick Morphling here for the Puck Saddle, though Morphling's time is not going to be necessarily guaranteed. It's still a lot of pressure you would expect going towards him. Then we have a Clinks for the ProDota side, and this is individually a hero that is not really matched up fantastic versus the Morphling all the time. In certain situations, yes, but really the theme here for ProDota is that we're just going to try to separate you. Like, that's what Clinks does the best. He goes to the back, he picks off that one guy, and then he leaves. If ProDota can take several small-scale engagements and avoid the full 5 heroes going into 5 heroes type of clash that Puck want, then the Black Hole and Ravage gets significantly worse, to say the least. And Clinks and Tiny being able to avoid those big ultimates, it's going to be really hard for Puck to win a team fight after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also in the case where Team Puck does get a little bit too strong, the Clink can split push. He split pushes. He's probably one of the best split pushers in the game. He's just so elusive, and with the searing arrows, he does so much damage to the towers that if you don't react quickly enough, you're going to be losing towers quicker than you're killing off heroes. So yeah, I absolutely love this Clink's pickup picked up by ProDota. Seems that Team Puck doesn't have their team logo this game.
They didn't have it last time either.
They at least had, I think they had like an icon or something at least, because now it's just empty and it feels naked.
I think you're tripping. I'm pretty sure there was nothing last game too.
I'm pretty sure there was something. It was like some icon. I'll rub it in your face when the viewers catch up.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone cares about that. That's what they're looking at right now. But here we go. It's going to be the second game. ProDota do have a 1-game lead, and it does seem like it's just going to be Batrider going down towards the bottom lane, and this lane is not going to be the cleanest for him. He will have the Napalm sometimes, but attack range, he's at a deficit going up against the Witch Doctor, who has a lot of attack range, and going up against 2 range heroes means that he can't freely spam it out and be safe. So this is going to be a lane that Axmo is probably not going to be able to sustain the entire time. He's going to get cast right now. Let's see how much damage they can put onto him. About a third with one spell cast. And having Magic Stick on either one of these heroes, Witch Doctor or Morphling, is going to give them so much extra benefit. You're able to spam Waveform and spam Cask. That is just so easy to force the Batrider out of lane.
I actually wanted to ask you, during the Shanghai Majors, Complexity loved to run this mid-Tiny with Limp. So Sunlight's doing the same thing with this Tiny. It's versus a Zeus. What are your thoughts on Tiny as a mid hero in general?
There are matchups where you just don't want a mid Tiny ever. Zeus is, like, versus a Death Prophet, things get really bad there. Zeus is a matchup that's actually not too bad, because if you get a good read and you know that the enemy is going to put the Zeus in the mid lane, and, well, ProDota certainly did, then you're able to start off with the Magic Wand. So the Zeus kind of has to Arc Lightning spam. If he doesn't, there's no way in hell he's going to outlast hit a Tiny who has 20-ish more base damage than the Zeus does. So he's not spamming Arc Lightning, he's not going to win the lane. You're filling up your Magic Wand, and if you're always able to get infinite mana on Tiny, then you can return fire and pretty much keep the chip game to even, let's say. And also, when you have a Chen on your team, then his rotation is so much easier to capitalize off of because you have a stun and a lot of burst damage. So Tiny just has to make sure not to get chipped down too much by these Arc Lightnings, get his bottle up at a reasonable pace, get a Chen gank going, and then Sunlight's lane is going to be pretty much a cakewalk. So this is a situation where you look at the Tiny Zeus right now and it looks like Zeus is dominating, and I guess he is, but that's not going to be the case forever. It's going to be changing very shortly.
Right, so let's see if Sunlight's going to be able to recover in that mid lane. Up top though, our Tidehunter's not looking too healthy. And look at the positioning of the Clinks. He wants to get a couple of extra pot shots in onto poor Weasty. He wasn't Weasty last game.
Oh, here we go. Mid lane. It's the Avalanche, the toss, unfortunately. Oh, they have a Purge actually from the Satyr and the Collapse. They'll grab the kill with that. Oh, Satyr Banisher. That's...
Did you forget how broken this creep is?
I mean, it's just like so tiny. He's small, not tiny. He's so small, he's so innocuous. It's like, oh, there's no way that guy could be a threat until you get purged. I'm not exactly sure how much slow that does. Does it like just drop you to minimum? Something like it's pretty ridiculous actually. It kind of pales in the comparison, of course, to this Dark Troll Summoner, which I'm sure he's thinking about grabbing right now. But either way, that's again the upside of having a tiny. You get chip down, chip down, chip down, and then all of a sudden the enemy is just dead.
I honestly think the Satyr Banisher is actually better than a Dark Troll Summoner to a certain degree. Like, the cooldown on the Purge is actually 5 seconds. Sorry, 3-second cooldown, and it's a 5-second duration on it, so you can cast it multiple times within a gank. So I could argue that the Satyr Banisher is on the same level as a Dark Troll. There.
There you go.
There we go.
But you also gotta remember that the
Oh,
Banisher
God.
has 8 damage. So, you know, while you're purging them, you're just not doing anything but purging them. But here we go, smoke round 2. This time Arzeek is going to join the mix. They can actually go all the way down to the bottom lane, actually. The Batrider's getting quite a bit of experience here. Even after the Morphling has picked up his magic wand, he'll be able to waveform out of there, and he probably will survive if he gets jumped by this Chen Lion gank train. But Enigma, the Witch Doctor, not as much, so they're going to look for Axmo beforehand. However, he's already up in the air right now. Malphus, though, with the stuns, will get the kill. In the meantime, in the river, they're going to catch the Zeus. There's an Impale. Here's where you want the extra damage other than the Satyr Banisher, but the CC is going to kick into effect, and Slight Pressure has no damage because he has no mana. He's going to be the victim of the gank. It's going to be 1-for-1 across the board, but ooh, can ProDota actually stay around here? The Witch Doctor's teleported in. They see him, or they saw him with the ward, and Nedlo is going to have to be very careful down here because the Chen has actually made his rotation all the way around into the enemy jungle and has grabbed the Centaur Conqueror with the Dark Troll Summoner. It's a very easy gank waiting to happen. Especially Nedlo looks for this one.
No, Nedlo.
Uh-oh, Net is going to land. Stomp should land as well. He doesn't have mana for a cask, and he's going to get burst down by Roger solo. This is a complete 180 from Roger's performance on Earth Spirit last game. He is just going to dominate this game as Chen, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. And he's probably going to be looking for a kill onto the Zeus as well, but he did put down an Observer Ward, so he's 100% aware of Roger and his creeps being in the vicinity. Although we've got our Enigma coming in, he's going to slowly chip down a little bit onto the Chen, but actually he's made a huge misplay. Sunlight's very low, they get the kill onto the Enigma. Now Sunlight needs to get out of here. He's going to try and juke into the tree line. He TP's out, and looks like they get him anyway. So the Zeus finally finds him, strucks him down with a lightning bolt. He doesn't have enough of Thunder God's Wrath, but he didn't even need to use it. In the meantime, though, our Tidehunter has been chopped to pieces as our Clinks gets the solo kill. Lots of action on the map.
And it's sometimes so difficult to force a Tidehunter out of lane. If you're running something like a Juggernaut or a Sven or something like that, then situationally you can make a play, but like this, in this lane versus Clinks, the Tidehunter just doesn't really have any way to play against this. And you look at how ProDota are running with their supports, they don't need to babysit the Clinks because he is just so individually powerful. Roger and Arzeek are able to freely roam around and get kills elsewhere. Speaking of kills elsewhere, Sheesh is going to run to the Zeus. The Enigma's going to arrive. Black Hole's there. They'll have enough damage and then some to kill off this Batrider. So Bat going a little bit too deep, almost picked off that Zeus, but ran into the wrong hero. Although Sunlight, is he really going to try to go for this? He has vision. Avalanche up the hill. That'll get the kill on the Zeus. They now know there's vision there, but it's a small price to pay. They're going to chase after this Enigma. Tiny is slightly faster. He's going to toss him up, start beating him down. That'll actually get the kill. Maxed out toss will kill him. And it's going to be Sunlight to get the rewards there. He has 2,000 gold. It's not even 10 minutes in the game yet. And this Tiny's off to a roaring start. Tiny and Chen as well.
If Sunlight picks up a super early blink this game, there are so many targets. He can burst from 100 to 0 with the Avalanche Toss combo. So Team Puck is going to have to be on their toes, consistently worrying about where Sunlight's going to be, because as a hero, Tiny is explosive at every point of the game as long as he has the farm necessary to stay with the opposing team. And considering the status of Sunlight now, he is off to a roaring start. So for Team Puck, they've got to be very careful. They're going to try and jump onto Shisha. Yeah, he's definitely dead. Yes, he is. Sunlight going to try and go for a solo kill onto the Enigma. Almost gets him. Finally does hit him with that final last hit. At least the Enigma managed to get a couple of Eidolons in the process. Tidehunter dies again in the top lane. And looks like it was a solo kill here for RZ because he has used the Finger of Death. Clinks was nowhere in sight for that kill.
So, yeah, I was watching the bottom lane, but I want to say that Lion absorbs experience from the Tidehunter jungling, grabs level 6, jumps the Tide. With Tide with level 3 Anchor Smash, 2 Kraken Shell, should be able to kill off creeps without losing any HP, so it was pretty much just the burst damage of the Lion and the fact that he doesn't have to be babysitting. They're going to smoke up and run into Nedlo right now. Boulder from long range, Arzeek lands the Hex, Shockwave plus Impale, that's a dead Witch Doctor. Now they're in a really rough spot, though, because there's heroes to the south and to the north of them, but Batrider's going to reinforce from the south. They're going to find slight pressure. He's going to throw a bolt into Roger. Not enough burst damage there. Now gets hit with the Centaur Stomp. Impale is there to follow up. Slight pressure, dead. And the Batrider's going to try to get into the mix there. Sunlight's going to show off his Bling Dagger to that Zeus. But 4 to 11 and ProDota are just all over Puck right now. And it just doesn't seem like they'll get enough time to assemble their team fight. Like, they have the levels at this point, but they're going to lose their Enigma. 100 to 0, easy peasy for Sunlight. Yeah, it's kind of impossible to get a team fight going when you're always down a hero.
Oh gosh, this is turning into such a disaster. Klink's going to try and go for a kill onto Nedlo. He is looking very healthy. We have the Tide Hunter here as well. Should not pop. Well, he's going to commit the Ravage. Can they kill Sunlight at least? They will get him. So at least they get a kill onto the very, very annoying Tiny, but we've actually got the Chen creeps coming in. They wanted to jump onto the Morphling, but he is one of the more difficult heroes to kill off. Klinks was in the vicinity, but it looks like he didn't actually want to show himself. Wanted to make sure that he was going to be consistently hidden under the cover of that skeleton walk, but ProDota, they're just sitting in the enemy jungle. They are completely relentless in shutting down the jungle and preventing anyone on the side of Puck to assemble their forces and go in as the 5-man team as they'd like to.
And this means that Enigma is going to be farming the top lane instead of someone who perhaps needs the farm a little bit more, who can't jungle it, like the Morphling, for instance. This is looking real bad for the Puck. Even like expending the Ravage and Death Ward there to kill off the Klinks, or to kill off the Tiny rather. Yes, that is worth it, but Tiny's back up again. He's going to try to go for Weasty. His damage isn't quite enough. Oh, Toss will cancel a DP and get the kill. It is enough, never mind. Now you don't have Ravage still for another 80 seconds, and Tiny's still killing you throughout that entire time. So, yeah, like using those ultimates to kill off these heroes, you really need to get at least 2 kills whenever you cast an ultimate for Puck. Otherwise, you're just going to fall so far behind while you're waiting for those skills to come back online. Not only through Tiny getting kills, but also bottom lane is kind of a mess right now. Tier 1 has already fallen, Tier 2 will shortly follow. They could even pressure the Tier 3 just to force Puck to TP a couple heroes in.
Team Puck, they can never get the game going in their favor, unfortunately. Looks like Nedlo will spot out this Batrider. Can he get a solo kill? Looks like he should be able to. They're going to commit the Thunder God's Wrath for that as well. Heavy commitment, but a kill's a kill. They are very far behind, and I think at this point, if they can get anything, they'll be very happy with it. And I suppose the cooldown for the Death Ward as well as a Thunder God's Wrath isn't that bad. As long as it's not a Black Hole or a Tide Hunter Ravage, they can be very happy with committing spells like that to grab kills. But I'm rather surprised at the positioning coming out from Team Puck. They've got 2 heroes aggressively moving into the top lane. Morphling's obviously farming, but they're going to try and go for a jump onto Klinks. With no vision, he is not a target.
Yeah, they only have a cask worth of stun, and Klinks' speed is usually going to make it so that he can get away from most of the cask bounces, significantly mitigating the effectiveness of that stun. So Klinks is going to be free and clear. The only thing that's not really going fantastically for ProDota is the fact their Batrider is not getting the most farm in the world, is in fact super low on the net worth chart, second from the bottom. Jeez. Yeah, as long as he gets his Blink Dagger though, he should still be in a decent spot, and the Tiny's getting so much. If Puck can continuously pressure this Batrider, delay in this Blink Dagger, then they'll buy themselves a little bit more time to assemble up their team fight, but I'm not really sure if they're going to have the time of day, because over in mid we have a pretty decent surround. Choke Artist, that's Garter. He's going to circle around and find the Enigma. In the meantime, Arzeek and Sunlight, do they actually have vision? They should see Slight Pressure and the Morphling. They're going to jump in. There's an Avalanche. Where's the toss? Sunlight.
Oh, they lost vision.
Yeah. Might have like clicked into the trees and then the pathing took him around. I think that was just like just Dota things.
Yeah. Well, nothing really lost. It's just the Avalanche that he committed. As long as it wasn't a huge ultimate, I think at this point Sunlight doesn't really matter how he gets into the fights as long as he gets the kills that he's after. But look at Shisha, aggressively positioned. He's going to come in from the backside. Thunder God's Wrath, they do spot him out in the Batrider. Very, very hesitant. They do get the Ravage off at least, and Roger's in a bit of trouble, but here comes the lasso. Going to try and shut down this Enigma. He is melting, but he is going to be able to get out scot-free, it seems. And well, in the meantime, Sunlight dropping very low. Tide finally drops. And it looks like that's going to be the only casualty. No, they see the Zeus, but nobody wants to go in. He did sort of shut himself down in that corner. But when all that's said and done, Ravage has been used. And for Team Puck, they only get... I guess they made ProDota cast spells. They didn't even get a hero.
got mana. Mission accomplished, boys. Even if they did get 2 kills, I'm not really sure if that quite would have been worth it. The Batrider should get his Blink Dagger very, very quickly. The Clinks and the Lion were able to get away from the back of that fight as well. RZ had like a freaking huge Earth Spike, hitting 2 heroes. The range on that thing with the Ether Lens is outrageous, and hey, he's going to find another Needlow. Just 2 shots to the Desolator, that's a kill. Sunlight, Blink is available. Health, not as much so. The Witch Doctor, either way, is going to take yet another spill. Our Zeke is getting so far ahead as the support line. He's already level 8, and I mean the levels is pretty even across the board, but either one's already up is going to already show its value. And I'm sure we'll see more Ravage Earth Spikes from him. And it has a slightly lower cooldown than Ravage, which is kind of nice.
A little bit cheaper, I suppose, if that counts for anything. But man, Team Puck is struggling. They've got this huge team fight lineup, and even though they had a team fight that seemed to be a 5-man engagement, it just didn't really seem to work to their expectations. Like, you would expect them to land their massive ultimates, to burn down everyone in ProDota to about maybe half HP, maybe like left at 1/3 of their HP, but that just wasn't the case. They were never able to have that perfect team fight, and because they don't have a proper initiator, that's never going to be the case. They don't have any heroes to blink in and to start the fights. It's always them playing reactively.
Man, they can't afford to play reactively. Black Hole definitely isn't a skill that's conducive to that. Ravage, a little bit more so, but as long as ProDota have this Batrider with the Blink, which he doesn't have, he went for a Midas, so sure, I guess Tiny can initiate and kill people, Clinks can kill people, they don't need to get the Blink Dagger on Batrider. I'm not really sure how much I agree with this, since if they had the Blink Bat, they could actually just force down all the outer towers without losing anything. But we do have Garter intercepting the Enigma. Oh, he sees him, I think, with that Observer Ward. He's going to think twice about that, but the ProDota are assembling the troops, they have the Aegis. What are they really scared of? These ultimates, yes, but as long as they watch their positioning, they should be just fine. Our Zeke, though, taking a bolt which gives vision to the tower, that actually hurts quite a bit.
Did you see Shisha write AFK on the map?
No. But he wrote AFK on the map, and that's what you do. You gotta farm as Batrider, man.
Oh, man. ProDota taking easy towers. All the ultimates are available for Team Puck if they really want to, but they just have no way to get into the fights quickly enough to land all of those spells. Like, look at the positioning of ProDota. They're just going in so carefully that no one's really going in, though. They're going to suck his mana a little bit, but there's
he
just
doesn't
no
actually lose any mana.
Oh, Sunlight. No, not going to bother. It's
oh, they see Wet Weasty, though. Weasty's all alone. There's a spike. There's an avalanche toss. Dead Tide. Perfect positioning for the Tidehunter, like right outside of the enemies, but yeah, there's no allies there, so Tidehunter's gonna get picked apart. They lose the tower as well, and still Batrider just doesn't have the Blink Dagger, but hey, it doesn't matter because you're getting these objectives so easily. Blink Dagger can wait, I suppose. 6-16. I don't know how Puck actually start a fight on their own terms. They have to just hope that ProDota initiate and they lose like a Witch Doctor, and then they team fight afterwards. It seems kind of thin.
Yeah, I'm really not too sure either. And the status of the Morphling, it's not looking too good either. 16 minutes in, and he's picked up an ultimate orb. I presume this is going to be a Lincoln Sphere. Like, there is not much Na can do this game, unless he's going to be rushing a Skadi, which I'll be a little bit happier about, but I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to get the farm to pick up a Skadi at a reasonable timing. The map is just so closed off that Morphling has to be worried about the Clinks. Like, the Clinks can kill now from 100 to 0 quite easily. So, there's no openings available for Puck in any department. None in farming, and also none in teamfight. So their options are very limited right now with what they can do.
They just have to hope that ProDota make a mistake at this point. I don't really think it's too much into the hands of Puck any more than it's out of the hands of ProDota where this game is going to have to go. If they make a blunder, then maybe they'll be able to land a Ravage into Black Hole. Blink Dagger on Tidehunter is going to make things a lot easier for that. But at this point, like, Ravage, yeah, is a good spell. It's only level 1, so stun duration damage isn't quite where it can be at this stage. And, oh, they're looking at bottom lane. Nah, They're going to try to force him out to use that replicate, but oh, it's going to get dragged back. Chen creeps. The damage is quite high, but the Morphling will waveform out and then jump away. We'll be fine, but that was just Batrider showing off his Blink Dagger, yes, but forcing the Morphling all the way back, and now they're going to jump towards our Zeke. This line needs some help. He's going to land a Hex, but even with the Hand of God, he still will fall. Those are the type of blunders that ProDota can still afford to make, but those are also the blunders that will get Puck back into it if they get it at a larger scale. They're going to see Sunlight with the Observer Ward, and Tiny's just going to book it. Weasty will gush him, and that's about it.
Everyone's so worried. They don't actually have that much high ground vision outside of the Observer Ward that spotted out Sunlight. Actually, he's going to try and go for a kill here, looking for that poor Zeus. Oh, God. At this point, Slight Pressure's probably depressed this game. He's just had it really rough as a Zeus.
Double damage Tiny also, like, it's not many things that are scarier than that. I guess he doesn't have level 3 grow yet, but man, ProDota are getting nuts out of control with this Clinks and Tiny. They are, well, firmly ahead of the Morphling. Even Batrider now, with his AFK farming build, is firmly ahead of the Morphling. Blink Dagger Force Staff should be up in no time flat, and Puck don't have anywhere to farm, so ProDota took this Aegis rather slowly. I think they probably could have forced the issue if they really felt uppity about it, but hey, slow and steady wins the race. So they're gonna get the BKB on Choke Artists, on Garter, on the Tiny, get, I don't know, like an Assault Cuirass, a little bit of extra survivability there, or BKB of his own. Puck, they can't really be assertive right now, even with these Blink Daggers, because if you lose a team fight while expending these ultimates, while you're trying to be aggressive, then you have to expend buybacks, or you lose Raxes.
Are there any major crowd control ultimates that they can possibly use to get at least a kill? Because if they don't use at least something to secure themselves a kill, how are they getting these kills? Like, yeah, you can kill a Lion easily, he's 800 HP, but everyone else on ProDota is tanky as all hell. They've got to use something at least. Like, maybe they could use just the Black Hole to potentially lock down a hero for a kill. Like, they can at least use a Black Hole, right? Like, you're going to definitely say Ravage for high ground.
Yeah, you can't afford to expend a Ravage. They do get a jump onto the Chen, who's just chilling, and now the Death Ward is there. Looks like they don't have to expend any ultimates, at least not of the big ones, to get this kill.
Oh, Sunlight.
Right? There we go. Thunder God's Wrath, and no, Sunlight is going to come in onto Nedlo. 2 bats with the tree, and he's going to get the kill. Now Batrider is going to jump in, grab Slight Pressure. Oh, Finger of Death. There's a Zeus dead. They will lose the Lion for it, as we see does deploy the Ravage. Shisha is at half HP. The Enigma is looking for Black Hawk. She doesn't have enough mana for it anymore, and now Guard is just going to tear him to shreds. They're on to Weasty right now. He has a TP. There's not really much of a chance that this Blink Dagger come back up, so he's just going to circle around the trees and then fall. Triple kill for Sunlight. Morphling does escape harm, but ProDota only sacrificed their 2 supports, and it's so much extra gold going into the hands of Garter and going into the hands of Sunlight. That looked like a decent opportunity for Puck until everyone from ProDota came. If they took down the Tier 1 tower earlier in this game, then that actually could have worked, but that Tier 1 tower ability to reinforce is just a little bit too strong for PD.
Absolutely. And it is going to be the Lincoln Sphere picked up on the Morphling. He's just picked up the Perseverance, so Recipe is next in line. This is rather unfortunate for the Morphling because it means he is not going to be aggressive anytime soon. Sunlight going to try and go for a solo kill. He kills the Morphling! Oh, gosh.
Batrider's pings also.
It's like, that's my job. What are you doing?
So, Morphling's Lincoln Sphere is not going to help him versus that. So he has to just have more in strength if he's going to survive that.
Actually, I have a question. What spells will it protect him from? It's definitely going to help him versus the Lion, but is there any other major spells that he should be avoiding?
It's really just Lion and Lasso. That's anything else like the Chen spells or whatever. That's, yeah, you might get a block there, but you don't really care about it. If you can block the Lasso, then you're good to go. Weasty needs to not die here, though, but he's hexed up. He'll get a Kraken Shell proc, but with the long-range Impale, they'll grab the kill on the Tidehunter. And Garter, yeah, stunned up a couple times, but still, it's a pick-off right under the nose of Puck. Like, they were all there, but they just couldn't do anything to help their friend. They're going to try to go for our Zeke. Turnaround Impale is there. Nah is going to get hexed up. Needs to get out of here quickly. Doesn't have a Replicant actually to jump to. He's going to start Strength Morphing. Where's the Tiny? He's the big hitter here, and the Morphling's going to escape. Our Zeke with the long-range impale is going to catch slight pressure. Deathward now onto the Lion. He's going to get sent back to the base. Now here comes the reinforcements. It's Sunlight. The Black Hole is going to land onto 2 heroes, but with the lasso, Now's not doing any damage. In fact, he has to retreat, and that Black Hole ultimately doesn't do anything. It's 4 heroes down for 0 this time, and ProDota absolutely annihilate Puck, and that is going to demoralize them so much, they're going to call it.
Oh gosh, this is gonna be such a devastating game for Puck. Like, the idea behind their draft, it was there. Like, you could definitely tell that they wanted to go for a team fight oriented lineup. They just needed their levels, and once they're ready, move as a 5-man unit, whilst possibly making space for that Morphling if he wants to go on his own, his own way, farming elsewhere. But it just never happened. ProDota, they picked apart their draft, getting those little kills with Sunlight, as well as having Shisha there every now and again, getting kills with the lasso. And heck, even the Clinks got kills by himself. He was huge. So for ProDota, they definitely capitalized on the disadvantages of Puck's draft, whereas for Puck, they were at the mercy of ProDota, and they showed no mercy.
I feel like this Zeus pick was just not the pick there for the Puck side. They did pick him first, expecting clearly like a different strategy, and now Zeus, like with the matchup of Tiny, with the matchup of versus Chen as well in that mid lane, Zeus needed to do so much better if ProDota were actually going to have enough space to get to that later stage where their ultimates would actually have a chance of landing and get kills. Morphling would be able to clean up afterwards. Zeus needed to be some sort of different hero, but picking him up first, not having him succeed, that's already sending them off to a really bad tone. That means for Puck, the team that replaced Stark in the lower bracket are just going to be out, which is kind of awkward for them. But for ProDota, they're pretty happy. They're going to move onwards and face... they don't know quite yet, so we'll just have to wait and see who their opponents are going to be in the lower bracket. But they're still alive in the NoShang tournament, guys. We don't have any more games tomorrow, unfortunately. The schedule's a little bit skewed for some reason. I don't know, teams, I guess, just can't play at these times. So yeah, you have to keep your eye on the channel if you are going to watch these games. Be sure to hit that follow button. Follow us on Twitter as well, at Mikelorus, at DanielCast, all in the upper right hand corner of your screen, as well as in the stream title. And we will see you guys next time for more NoShang Invitational. GG.
GG.